Good evening. My name is George Dierberger. Welcome to the Stillwater Gazette sponsored Candidates Forum for State Senate District 39. Margot Reinberger, who usually moderates these forums, chose not to do this one and selected me. All parties have agreed to that choice. There are two candidates vying for the position. They are in alphabetical order. DFL endorsed Julie Bunn and Republican endorsed Karen Housley. Each candidate will be allowed a minute and a half for an opening statement and a 2-minute closing statement. Up to 2 minutes will be allotted to answer the questions. At my discretion, I will allow for rebuttals with the questions only, not with closing statements, as we are limited to the hour taping of this forum. A 1-minute rebuttal will be allowed if your opponent refers to you in her answer. I will continue to allow rebuttal time until I decide that we have belabored the issue. Forum organizer Beth Johnson will be the timekeeper. She will hold up 45 seconds, 15 seconds, and then a stop card. When you see the stop card, complete your sentence only, or she will cut you off. The Stillwater Gazette has provided the questions that will be asked. I received the questions this evening at around 5 p.m. The candidates have not seen the questions. Please note, there are a few questions that may deal with the school board and the school district. Those are not my questions. Let's begin with opening statements. Karen won the coin flip before the session, so Karen will begin, a minute and a half.
First, George, thank you so much for being our moderator. I want to thank the Stillwater Gazette for sponsoring this forum, thank Valley Access for airing this, and thank all of you for coming. This election year is extremely important for our state. We need legislators who understand the importance of getting our economy moving again and helping our businesses create jobs. I'm a small business owner, and I know how important it is to be fiscally responsible. I'm the owner of Karen Housley Homes, and my husband, Phil, of 27 years, and I also own the Lumberyard Hockey and Sports Training Facility. I've authored a business book which was published by Random House, and I'm very involved in our community. I'm president of Let's Go Fishing with Seniors. I'm on the board of the Community Thread. I volunteer with Canvas Health, and I helped bring the Special Olympics to Stillwater. I've had the Karen Housley Show on AM 1220 KLBB right here in the area, where we feature people, places, businesses, and nonprofits on our show and events. I got a BA from the State University of New York in communications, and I was a television news producer for both NBC and ABC. Phil and I have 4 children, ages 15 to 25, and we've moved all over the U.S. and Canada during his 21-year NHL hockey career, and we've experienced many different education platforms and healthcare systems. I care about you and our community, a community that I've been heavily involved in for as long as we have lived here. I will continue to put you and our community first in every decision I make at the Capitol. I asked you to vote for me, Karen Housley, for your state senator, Tuesday, November 6th. Thank you.
Thank you. Julie, opening statement.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to thank also the Stillwater Gazette and our moderator for stepping up this evening, and to all of those of you watching for your interest and for your involvement. I live in Lake Elmo with my husband of 28 years, Marlon Gunderson, who's present here tonight. We have one daughter who went through the Stillwater Area School District and graduated in 2008 and is now just finished college and is employed in her first job in the healthcare field. I'm an economist with over 25 years experience in academia, government, and in consulting in public policy. I'm also a former member of the Minnesota House. From the southern half of this new District 39, I served from 2007 to 2010, including part of Stillwater here. As a volunteer, I've served on the Lake Elmo Planning Commission as a host mom to AFS and Rotary Exchange students who came to our community, and I'm currently a member of the Greater Stillwater Area Chamber of Commerce and a very active volunteer and member of the Lake Elmo Rotary Club. Every day, I go out into the community and speak to citizens in this district, and I hear from them their frustration with the political process and with the inch-deep sound bites coming to them from candidates and from mailings into their homes. When speaking to these citizens, I strive to give a clear understanding and analysis of the problems we face and the potential solutions. Not sound bites, not Band-Aids that put us off to solutions to the future, but real solutions that have a real understanding of the world. I look forward to our exchange this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. Our first question this evening. Both of you have gotten business-related recognition. That includes Julie being named Guardian of Small Business and Karen being endorsed by the Minnesota Chamber of Commerce. What business knowledge and/or experience do you bring that can help the legislature run more efficiently and effectively? Karen, you're up first.
Well, I think being first of all, it was an honor to get the Minnesota Chamber of Commerce endorsement this year. I've owned a business in the area for the last 10 years, and I think what's really needed at the Capitol right now is someone who does have business experience in balancing budgets. In everybody's business, even in your home life, you can't spend more money than you bring in. And that has been a history of what has happened at the Capitol. And everybody knows that you just can't continue to operate that way. So I think we do need people with business experience and ideas at the Capitol, and that's what I do hope to bring. Thank you.
Thank you. Julie?
Yes, well, this is an excellent question. As you say, the economy and job creation is going to be a key focus for us going forward. I have a PhD in economics and taught economics and finance for many years at the college level. My family, my extended family and my husband are in farming, or they're in electrical businesses, and my husband is a high-tech communications engineer, has been on the ground floor of founding 3 small high-tech companies that have created over 1,000 jobs in the United States. In addition, I was a founding member of the Small Business Caucus at the legislature to give small businesses a direct voice in the process to meet their specific challenges through legislation on a bipartisan basis and pass legislation to meet those needs. In addition, when I was an academic in college, serving on a faculty, I was on one of the most junior members ever to be appointed to the long-term budget and finance committee of the institution and helped oversee for a number of years the $50 million budget for that institution and advise the president on all budget priorities going forward. Finally, I have students that I've sent out to businesses all over Minnesota, and I also have toured businesses through my work on committees with biosciences and emerging technologies, and also jobs tours with committees that I've served on the Minnesota House. This continue to be our most top priority going forward. In previous races, I was endorsed by the Minnesota Chamber of Commerce Leadership Fund and the National Federation of Independent Business, and as was stated, twice received their Guardian of Small Business Award, not only for my tax restraint in my voting record, but my work on specific small business issues, and particularly my work on creating flexible healthcare products for small business in our state in order to lower their cost.
Thank you. Second question goes to you, Julie. During every election season, special interest groups send out often inflammatory information about your opponent, which at times can be downright deceptive. If asked about these type statements made against your opponent, which you happen to know are not fully correct, do you feel any responsibility to correct the misinformation to the inquiring voter?
Oh, I appreciate this question. I, like many of you, are very frustrated with the dysfunctional political system we live in, and the role of money, the role of the political parties. I view myself as a policy person, not a partisan person. I'm elected by the people, not by my party, and that's the way I serve as well. We have people that in our society, we are just so frustrated with the mailings, with the TV ads, all the rest of it. When people have said to me in the last few weeks at the door, I just can't stand those negative hit pieces on you by your opponent, I say, they're not by my opponent, they're by her political party. You really need to read your literature, see who's sending it, so whether it's from the Democratic Party or the Republican Party, or from Karen Housley herself, or from Julie Bunn herself, or some other interest group. So I always advise people to read who is producing and paying for the literature. If it's coming from political parties, to make sure they fact check it and think about who the source is, or for any other interest group, and to pay most attention to the words that are actually emanated from the 2 candidates' mouths, and from their statements, from their literature, and what they say their positions are in their information on their websites.
Thank you. Karen?
Well, I'm very flattered in the most recent mailer that everybody got in their mailbox from the DFL, recognizing my accomplishments and calling me a superhero. But you have to read the fine print, and it says of my special interest, and it goes on to say, Housley supported the Republican majority and their special interest agenda that, and it goes into lump me into that I voted to completely eliminate business property taxes while ending the Minnesota homestead property tax credit. Well, I couldn't have done that because I wasn't in the legislature. It also says that I cut $2.1 billion from Minnesota schools without a plan to pay it back, and I couldn't have done that because I wasn't in the legislature. And it also says that I supported authoring a bill that would allow insurance companies not to offer treatment for women diagnosed with breast cancer and exclude coverage for life-saving cancer screenings. I couldn't have done that because I wasn't in the legislature. But that one came from the DFL, but there was another one that just came in the mailbox today that was from my opponent, and I have not sent any negative mailers out this whole campaign, and I refuse to do that from the get-go. But she did send one out, and it does say that this comes from Julie Bunn's campaign. Julie's opponent, Karen Housley, strongly supports a Republican majority that voted for nearly $931 million in cuts to hospitals and health care. It's disturbing to me that they want to tell you, the public, what they think I'm thinking when I couldn't have done any of this because I wasn't in the legislature, nor am I sending any negative mail pieces myself.
Julie, rebuttal?
Well, on this, my view is that if individuals running for office and they have stood strongly in their previous races with the Republican leadership and the Republican majority in their positions, and now are saying they are also personally a strong Republican, that they need to address themselves to the issues that their own party has passed to the legislature. Likewise, from the other side, in previous campaigns, I have received 22 to 28 attack pieces against me by either the Republican Party or special interest groups. We're actually behind schedule this year. Maybe they're going to pick it up in the next few weeks. And so I also found it interesting that Karen is now the superhero named by my own party. I thought that was very nice of them. And I'm the job crusher, despite my long list of endorsements by business groups and my work on business issues on behalf of the people of Minnesota. So again, back to my original comment, things coming from interest groups and from parties, you need to question where they come from.
Karen, rebuttal on that?
No.
Okay. Moving on.